Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Stitches and Prayers. My name is Pam, and let's get started. So, I didn't do one last week because I really, excuse me, something was in my throat. I really didn't have anything new to show you. So I was like, why am I going to do it just to do it? I guess I could have. I still don't have any real finished objects. I have one that's almost finished and one that's like 3/4 of the way finished. And then somebody else I put in timeout that we'll talk about in a few minutes. So, we're going to start with my almost finished object, which is my Project Marvin blanket. I decided, so at work, I work a new shift where I go in at 8 o'clock at night and I get off at 6:30 in the morning, which is really nice because I get to see my husband before he leaves for work. And then I will work on something for a little while and I'm in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then I get up before he gets home from work. And I get to make dinner. That's something that I haven't been able to do on a work day in 3 years since I started working in Amazon. So it's very exciting, but it also means that I don't have a lot of knitting or crocheting time. So what I've decided is that work days are going to be crocheting and my off days will be knitting. My throat again. I feel like there's something stuck in there. I feel raspy. But anyways, this is a Project Marvin blanket that I'm going to be making. I should have gotten up this morning and sewn the tag on. I do still have all of my fringe. All of my fringe. When I'm doing these, I make these big old huge balls and I just knot them. It's not like the proper way, but I do this. I knot it and then I will crochet over the tail and then I'll leave some hanging to weave back in, cut off any extras. You usually can't feel the knots in there or anything like that when you're using the blanket, and then I know that the two ends are secured. The last thing I'm going to do is I bought these little tags, and the first batch, I've taken 10 blankets to my grandmother. Project Marvin is in honor of my grandfather, Marvin Pace, who passed away 1 year ago yesterday, as I'm recording this on February 23rd. Yes, February 23rd. So he passed away last year on the 22nd of February at the age of 95. I think it was 95. Might have been 96. He was born in 1928. So, I mean, he came close to being a centenarian. What do they call him? But anyway, so I made these. Squirrel. I made these little guys right here. I had them made to sew in the corner of the blankets that I've made. I've already taken 10 up to grandmother. I've never in my life called her grandmother. To grandma. For her to take. The first 5, I believe, went with my sister. My sister is a breast cancer survivor, and I believe that she took them up to where she was getting her treatments at and gave them to some of the ladies that were there. And I don't know what grandma has done with the second set of 5. I took those up there at Thanksgiving. I went up to Michigan at Thanksgiving. So that's my only, we can call it finished. I'm done crocheting on it. I just need to sew in all of those ends and then put the tag on it, and it's done. It will be the first one that gets the tag because the first set, I totally forgot to sew the tags on. So there's that. So then my pretty much only work in progress that I have now is my sweater, and I'm looking over here to my computer because I've got the pattern pulled up so I can give you the correct name of it. It's the Raglan Pullover by craftpassion.com. It is worked in pieces, and I know I showed you. Let me grab it. Okay, so I've made, this was my first sweater that I ever made here. So it's made in pieces. So you make the front piece, you make the back piece, you make both sleeves, and then you sew it all together. This one I made 2 pattern. And I like it, but the sleeves are not long enough for me. I think I talked about this last week or in the last episode, that the sleeves were not long enough. The body was not long enough. I'm very long torso. So like from my underarms to where I want sweaters to hit is quite long. So this one like barely sits below, I don't know. I'm always pulling at it. So I decided I was going to make myself another one. Here is one panel. I believe this is the front panel. I made this out of Red Heart, which is an acrylic yarn, so this is gets to throw right into the washing machine. Yeah, this is the front panel. I made it out of Red Heart, like light sage for those stripes, taupe. So I started with the light sage and I did my ribbing, a little bit of a contrast from the original pattern, and then I did my stripes in that light sage, and they look like little valentines. I did, I think, nine repeats of the stripes before I went into my raglan shaping for the arms. Then I did the exact same thing on the back panel. So my stripes all should line up. Should. We know how shoulds work around here. And then, so I am currently working on one of the sleeves. Now on the pattern, if you notice, there's these blocks of color on the sleeves, and there's no patterning on the sleeve. So you've got your stripes here, but you don't have them there, and then you've got these blocks. And I decided I was going to carry the stripes from the sweater on my sleeves. So I did that in the same every 10 rows. All of my stripes should line up. We know how that works, like I said. But as long as it's close, I'm good. So I did the same thing. I started with the sage on the sleeve, on the cuff, and then I did all of my increases and stripes and got it all in there. And now I'm working on, and I think this might be too long. Now I'm holding it up because I've got I'm decreasing. I don't know where I'm going with it. I'm going with it, and we'll see what happens. But like right here is the underarm, so that's the length of my sleeve. And yeah, I'm doing the decreasing here. I guess not. We'll see. We'll see. But that's how long the sleeve should be. I'm really excited. Like I said, I'm going for it. After I do this sleeve, I might go ahead and put the whole sweater together so that I can see if I need to take this sleeve back off or not. I won't have the collar on because I won't have the other sleeve. But I might go ahead and put the whole thing together, what I've got, to see what I need to fix. There's been a lot of math in this, and if anybody knows me, I'm not a mathematician at all, but I'm trying. Trying. I used to pass math in high school with like a D and be excited about it. Yeah. So that is pretty much all I'm working on. Now for the naughty object. Not that the object is naughty, just I got angry with it and put it away, so it's naughty. Anyways, oh, that's not it. Ooh, it's my other boxy, and I thought that was it. That's the one that I took apart. Hold on. All right. I'm sorry if anything looks different. I did have to get up and look for my other project. I thought that was it, sitting right there, but that's the one that I talked about last week that was mega huge on me, and so I took it out. It was the little bit of stripes, so. Anyways, this is also a boxy by Joji Locatelli, and I will be making it, but I have the whole issue with that I ran out of the right color yarn, so I can't do the sleeves at all. And this is the same size as the other one. So even though I'm like almost to the part, I mean, I'm almost there. I've got one side of the front done. I'm working on the other side. I have the back, either the front or the back done. But I only have, I have this much of the cucumber left. I painted my toes today on. I don't know how I did that. So this is cucumber. And then this is Red Barn. And that's all I have left. And I have more. I don't think I have enough. Because, but then again, but this thing is huge again. It's way, 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 way too big. So, I meant to talk about this last week in last week's episode, and I don't know how. I talked about the one, and I just skipped over the other one, and I didn't go for it. So, that is going to be frogged. Ripping it out. Rip it, rip it, rip it. But, I'm going to make, it's the Love Letter top by Veronica Lindbergh. Hopefully I'll be able to post it and I can put a picture in. It's like all over lace, tank top. Yeah. So I had said last week that I wanted to challenge myself to learn cables. I think I still want to learn cables because they look gorgeous. She's even got one. I'm loving it, and it's all over cables. And she's got another one coming out. But is it this Arctic Light? It's this one right here. No. Somebody has, is it Woolen Vine or is it Knitting Traditions that has I think it's, I don't think it's Knitting Traditions. I think it is Kristen from Woolen Vine has an epic make-along going on all year long. That is my epic make-along, my dream knit right there. And yeah, I'm excited. I might, that one's another one. I need to purchase the pattern and get it put on, but I first need to find wool that I want to make it in. Because I've heard that wool is a lot better for making the cables. But anyways, I digress. Back to the boxes coming out and the love notes going on. I should have enough of that, I think, to do it all in one color. I'm hoping. I need to, I don't even know if I have any of the ball bands to know how much of that I have. So stay tuned. I might just do like a regular, oh, no. No. That's not what I was doing with it. Not. I was going to make a diggory tee. A diggory tee by Devin Ventry. And it is a paid for pattern. You can find it on Ravelry, but when you click to purchase it, it'll take you to a different, you can't purchase on Ravelry, it takes you to her site. She does sell yarn, so anybody looking for yarn, I haven't tried it yet. She's Nitty McPurley. She has a podcast. Her name's Nitty McPurley here on YouTube. Look her up and go watch it. She has Sunday, her episodes come out every Sunday. That is about all, I think. That's all I had to talk about. So I guess that makes it time for... before I get into that, let's go ahead and say thank you to everybody who has watched this far. I appreciate every single one of you, everybody who has left a comment, and I'm going to read some of the comments that were left last week on last week's episode. That's the whole purpose for my computer being out here. Anyways, I had Ellen K64, who she's been watching for a little while, and she said, I'm watching, Pam, because I referenced last week that I felt that people weren't watching my episodes, and it was very disheartening. And I got into all my feels, and that's why I was gone for 2 months, I think. Bad. Oh, well. She said, I'm watching, Pam. I try to catch every episode, but I'm not always able. But I'm not going anywhere, she says. She said, so many sweaters, so pretty. I've been working in the same sweater for months. I feel the same way about that one. The only one I have. She said, thank you for sharing and your prayer at the end. God bless. God bless you too, Eileen. Ellen. Sorry. And I also had Deborah Leeser, 6306. She said, I'm new to your channel. Love it. Keep up the good work. Prayers and hugs sent your way. And thank you, ladies. I appreciate it so very much. So if you've watched and you liked anything or have any words of encouragement for me, type them down below. I love getting them. I love reading them. I try to respond. I only had 2 last week, so it was very easy. I would love to get to the point where it's hard for me to respond to every single one of them. Look at there. I'm putting that out into the world. So I really do hope that if you're not interested in the Bible time and the prayer, that you have a great week. And I will talk to you guys next time. Make sure to do the YouTube things down below. Like and subscribe, okay? But for those of you who are sticking around, we've got Bible time. And last week I started with, I pulled some of my favorite songs and dog-eared them and, post-it noted out of this book. It's called Then Sings My Soul. It's got 300 of the world's greatest hymns, plus the stories that go along with them. Going into the Easter season, having just celebrated, well, I guess Lent started, not this past Wednesday, the Wednesday before last, Valentine's Day. So we're into the season of Lent. I thought that the song today would be In the Garden. And I know there's all kinds of jokes about what's the name of God, and He, because and He walks with me. You know, when you're singing it fast, it's Andy. But this is one of my favorite songs. When me and my husband lived in Michigan, we'd only been married for maybe five years. We had gone to a church, and we did sunrise services, and the pastor took this song and he did a whole sermon on it, and it was probably one of the best sermons that pastor had ever preached. It was probably my favorite, and if I would have had the foresight to record it so I could hear it every Easter season, I would have. But it was very touching, and I can't remember anything about it, but just that it was about this song, and it's one of my favorites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the little story that goes along with the hymn. I don't know, we might read through the words, and then we're going to read, there's a Bible verse that goes with it. We'll read that as well. So we got In the Garden. And you know what? I'm changing my mind right now. We're going to read the Bible verses. And it's getting hot in my bedroom. I'm getting warm. Woo! Anyways, so In the Garden, the Bible verse that goes along with it is John 20:14. I need eyes. All right, sorry about that. And first I'm going to read out of the King James Rainbow Study Bible. And it is, "And when she had thus said, she turned herself back and saw Jesus standing and knew that it was Jesus." Then out of my New Living Translation, the Touchpoint Bible. Can you see that? Or is it too? There it is. John 20, verse 14 says, "She glanced over her shoulder and saw someone standing behind her. It was Jesus, but she didn't recognize him." So for those of you who know, that's the verse where Mary has come to the garden at the resurrection at Calvary, and the man is standing there, and he's wanting to know, "Why are you crying?" So she looked at this man, and she didn't recognize who he was, even though she had just spent 3 years with the man. But she didn't recognize his new heavenly glorified body. And not until he said her name did she recognize who he was. So, into the story of In the Garden. The art of meditating on Scripture involves using one's imagination. Instead of simply reading a passage, we must read it, close our eyes, and visualize the scene, perhaps even putting ourselves in the picture. That's what the author of this hymn did. C. Austin Miles was a pharmacist who began writing gospel songs and eventually became an editor of hymnals and songbooks, as well as a popular music director at camp meetings, conventions, and churches. His hobby is of photography, and he found his darkroom perfect for developing not just his photos, but his devotional life. In its privacy and strange blue glow, Miles could read the Bible in total privacy. One day, in March 1912, while waiting for some film to develop, he opened the Bible to his favorite chapter, John 20, the story of the first Easter. Miles later said, "As I read it that day, I seemed to be part of the scene. My hands were resting on the Bible while I stared at the light blue wall. As the light faded, I seemed to be standing at the entrance of the garden, looking down a gently winding path shaded by olive branches. A woman in white, with head bowed, hands clasping her throat as if to choke back her sobs, walked slowly into the shadows. It was Mary. As she came to the tomb upon which she placed her hand, she bent over and looked in and hurried away. John, in flowing robe, appeared, looking at the tomb. Then came Peter, who entered the tomb, followed slowly by John. As they departed, Mary reappeared, leaning her head upon her arm at the tomb. She wept. Turning herself, she saw Jesus standing. So did I. I knew it was he. She knelt before him, her arms outstretched, and looking into his face, cried, "Rabboni." I awakened in full light, gripping my Bible with muscles tense and nerves vibrating. Under the inspiration of this vision, I wrote as quickly as the words would be formed the poem exactly as it has since appeared. That same evening, I wrote the music. In addition to In the Garden, Austin Miles is the author of several other gospel songs, including A New Name in Glory, Dwelling in Beulah Land, and If Jesus Goes With Me, I'll Go Anywhere. Then the words of the song, and I'm going to try not to sing them, because like I said, this is my favorite. It says, I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. He speaks, and the sound of his voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. I'd stay in the garden with him, though the night around me be falling, and he bids me go through the voice of woe. His voice to me is calling. And then we have the chorus. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. I would love below, if you've watched this far, give me the name of your favorite hymn, and I'll see if it's in my book. I got 300 of them, and maybe we'll go from there about telling the story that's behind all of our favorite hymns. Gracious and Heavenly Father, thank you for the day that you've given us and the time that we've been able to come together. Thank you so much for that first heart-wrenching Easter that you had to give to us so that we may one day come and be with you in glory. Be with everybody who's watched this far. Be with them throughout the time that we are apart. Please bless them and keep them close to you. In your precious name, amen. All right, guys, that's it for this week, and I will see you next time. But remember, until then, this world is not our home. We're just a passing through. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.